Hi everyone, it's Miss Dragonfly back again, and this is the first of my series of reaction and commentary videos where I comment on other influencers and speakers, mostly well-known, on relationship topics, gender and social issues, and let you know what I think about what they say, their opinions and thoughts, and whether or not I agree with them, and if I think they are correct. So we'll get on to it. But before we do, if you can like, share and subscribe my video so that it will reach more people. And today I'm going to be commenting on a video from Matthew Hussey. For those that don't know, Matthew Hussey is a male from the UK that gives out relationship advice to women. So I guess his selling point is that he's a man, so he's able to tell women what men want from a male's perspective. I gather that. Now, this particular video of his is called Scared It Won't Work Out? Use these 5 questions to know. Now, I do find that he rattles on a bit, so I'm going to get straight to those 5 questions that women need to know about whether or not it works. So let's have a look.
Number 1, do they make me a better version of myself? This is a really important question because there are people we can feel wildly attracted to, but they make us a worse version of ourselves. We feel insecure around them all the time. We feel anxious. They make us a meaner version of ourselves. They make us a version of ourselves that's less interested in our own life. We don't feel supported by them. We feel unsure of ourselves all the time. But there are other people who, though we may be wondering if they're the right person, make us feel like we are a wonderful version of ourselves when we're with them. We're kinder. We feel more at peace. We're more vulnerable. We're more confident. So are you a better version of yourself by being with them?
So I guess the crux of what he's trying to say, going through all that, when he says, are you able to be who you are with that person? It basically, can you get along with each other just by being yourselves? That's basically what it is. And when he says that, do they make a better version of yourself or bring out the best in you? Basically, are they, are they able to elevate you? Okay, so that your good side comes out and help you to achieve, I guess, with their help, okay, and their support, do and be what you've always wanted to be. I guess that's what he's trying to say in a nutshell, in very simplified terms. So let's have a look at his second point, okay?
Myself when I'm around them. So this is similar but subtly different because there are some people that by the way that they handle us, the way that they encourage us to talk about ourselves, the way that they make us feel comfortable about what are normally hidden parts of ourselves, we actually start to feel like we can be more of ourselves. We can really open up. We feel accepted by the way that they treat us. And so we actually start to become more of who we really are. We've all had that situation in the past, haven't we, where there's been someone that we're really trying to get because we think they have some kind of value. We think they're important, they're impressive, they're super charismatic. There's something very attractive about them. And we go into this mode of trying to impress them, trying to win them over. And in the process, we become less of ourselves. We start to hide the parts of ourselves we feel ashamed of or nervous won't be accepted, the parts that make us geeky or a bit weird inside, the parts that we think make us less cool. And so we start to shut ourselves down a little bit and only let them see things that we think they will be impressed by. This is a version of not being accepted by someone. So when we find someone that naturally makes us want to just show more of ourselves, be more of ourselves, and feel safe to do all of that, that's a pretty beautiful sign.
Okay, that's pretty much like his first point is that, basically, are you able to be yourself with that person? Do you feel comfortable being yourself with that person? Do you feel like being yourself is enough? Or are there incompatibilities or things that you feel that you need to be someone that you're not in order to impress the other person, in order to make the relationship work with the other person? So this is another thing, basically comes down to it. Are you naturally compatible with each other just as you are? And no pretense. All right, let's go on to his next point.
Growing by being with this person. I think one of the most beautiful things about a relationship is that there is that genuine 1 + 1 = 3 synergy. You find someone who, by being with them, your world expands. You learn. They are good at things that you're not good at. They've built skill sets in their life that you don't have. And by doing that, we actually expand by being with them. I feel like, oh, I'm learning, I'm growing. My identity is expanded and enriched by being with someone like you. And that person might be different from the person we expected ourselves to be with. Originally, especially when we're our younger selves, we might fixate on this way of being impressive that we're looking for in a person. It might be a very outward form of success or charisma or someone who's the life and soul of the party. But when we actually start to evolve and mature, we might realize that there are people who have done a quieter kind of work on themselves. There are people who have become impressive in ways that a less mature version of us wouldn't have even noticed or cared about. But now that we're at this stage in our life, we go, wow, I really love that you've worked on that. I really love that you've become mentally healthy in that way, at peace in this way. You've become a person that I really admire in life. And by being close to you, I'm going to learn how to have more of that myself. When we find someone like that, we are going to grow. So I think that the mistake a lot of people make is trying to find someone who's exactly like them and impressive in all the ways they are. And they think if someone's not impressive in the same ways they're impressive, then that person must be deficient in some way. Instead, we should look for someone who's impressive in all sorts of ways that maybe we're not, because that's where an incredible synergy comes from. I remember recently speaking to a group of really high achieving women and them saying to me, we want to find someone who's playing at our level. And these women were making a lot of money. They were the top of the food chain in business. Many of them had started their own companies and made a fortune compared to everyone else's standards. And they were looking for someone who was playing at their level. And I remember thinking to myself, but that's just finding someone who's impressive in the same way you're impressive. Do you really need to find? It kind of feels like you already got that box ticked for the both of you. Do you need to find someone who's impressive in all the same ways? Or could you find someone who's built the ways that they're admirable in a different way to the way that you've done it? That doesn't mean we have to find someone who's impressive in different ways than the ways that we are. But it does mean that before we judge them for not playing at our level in certain areas, we might want to explore the ways that they're playing at a higher level than us in others.
Okay, his point about am I growing with this person? I guess what he's trying to say, or what I can interpret what he's trying to say is, does that person compliment me? In a way, if he compliments me, then, or, your partner compliments me, the other person, then you can grow by being complimentary with each other. He's able to assist you in other ways or has other skills that you don't have, and that's how you are able to grow. Partner elevates you. And his point about high achieving women, they're at such a high level and they want to find someone else at that level. And he's saying that you're doing so well at that level, why would you want someone at that level as well doing that same thing? Okay, one thing, he does have a point that you don't need someone doing exactly the same thing. as you do. I mean, that's just like doubling up. Same skill set. However, I guess what he's missing is that you both have to operate at the same level. Okay, it could be in other, well, in different fields, so to speak, where you could be, operating a business, being a CEO, but your partner could be, having his own construction business or something else, that's so forth. So when I say your partner has to be at the same level as you are, what I mean is they have to be as switched on as you are. Doesn't have to be the same thing, but in terms of ability and the intensity that you work at, your partner also needs to match that. Otherwise, you're going to have one person operating up here, the other person operating down there. And the problem that would arise is if you're up there, your partner's down here, you're going to want to bring him up to your level. Come on, do this, do that. And your partner, because he's a lot lower and he's not able to operate like that, he is going to feel that you're bossing him around. Okay, but you can see if you do not give those instructions, then things don't get done. At least things that are important to you or what you see as important. So if you can't pull him up, then you're going to have to pull back and be at his level. So, and can you imagine someone that is a goer and with a intensity can do so many multiple things at once, having to pull back and just do one thing at a time? That person's going to feel so frustrated. So then you're both going to be very unhappy with that situation. And when that happens, guess what? Breakup will happen. Or not right away. You'll try to make it work and pull it along, string it along this way and that way, all the while you're both suffering. And then in the end, I guess you have to let go. Okay, let's look at his next point.
Could I have 10,000 meals with this person? Now, I thought that was a pretty good question because we can have an amazing date with someone that's really exciting, but that's a different thing from could I have 10,000 meals with this person? Because that's what a lifelong relationship actually looks like. Do I feel comfortable enough, at home enough, and interested enough in this person's mind to be able to do that?
Okay, so that point was about can you have 10,000 meals with that person? So what it really means is that can you be with that person over the long term? Saying about comfortable with that person and so forth. But it really boils down to is that are you compatible enough? Do you get along well enough that you can do this over the long term? And remember, because for a relationship to last, you have to be able to get along with each other over the long term. And how do you do that? I guess when you are comfortable with each other, you are able to be yourself. And remember what I said, the easier something is, the longer it will last. So if you find your interactions with your partner very easy, no pretense, you're just being yourself, and that's your natural behavior, you're going to be like that all the time, without effort, and still get along really great, it's going to last, and you are going to get your 10,000 meals together that you can stand. All right. So let's have a look at his fifth and final point.
Really important. When we're in a perfectionist mode of looking for perfect, we're always going to find the things that are wrong. But we often don't look to the things that are really, really right. That if we lost this person or swapped them out for somebody else, would suddenly all be on the table again as things that might be missing. And they're the really big things. Is this person kind? Are we really good at problem solving together? Do we make a great team? Do I feel loved and supported by this person? These are the big building blocks of a beautiful relationship. And sometimes when we have these amazing pillars in place, it can just feel like a kind of peace. In other words, we don't often notice the problems we don't have. There's a phrase, I saw it in Futurama, I don't know where it comes from originally, but if you're doing things right, people won't be sure you've done anything at all. And sometimes a great relationship feels like that because so many things are going right. It doesn't feel like anything is happening, but that's because things are going right. You know when things are going really wrong. You know when someone is making your life hell, when someone is making you feel unstable, insecure, anxious, stressed, controlled. When things are going right, it almost gives us the luxury of going, what little thing don't I have in this person? And that breeds that uncertainty again. So be honest with yourself about the beautiful things, the great building blocks of a long-term relationship that you do have with this person that you might not actually have with someone else.
Okay, his last point, do they have the fundamentals? I guess the fundamentals to be with you, which at the crux of it is really, are you both a good match? Do you match on the things that matter? Like I said, mentioned, get along naturally as you are. You have the same values and goals. And when things match, the really important points that do match, then you are going to go far together. I mean, you are going to feel so comfortable with each other. You're going to you're going to support each other because of that, because you're both a team in this together. And of course, love, there will be love, and it will be strong and it will last. So I guess, yeah, I do agree with what he's saying, his points, but he's gone about it a really big roundabout way, I guess. And I guess this is also reflective of a lot of relationship experts out there, that they really dance around the issue. They go this big circle of things that you need, where they really miss the crux of it, is that if you've got the center, then everything will flow out from there. If you're naturally compatible, then everything that he said will happen. So those are my thoughts about this video and the points that he's given. What do you think? Let me know by leaving your comments below, and if you've enjoyed the video, then don't forget to like, share and subscribe, as it will help me out a lot. And that's it for this segment, and until I see you next, remember to stay safe, confident and gorgeous.